communities' cultural and spiritual rights, and climate change. The matter was escalated to the Supreme Court, which confirmed that the consultation process was inadequate and that there was failure to take relevant considerations into account. But the appeals court ruled that the High Court failed to consider just and equitable relief, issuing a suspension order that allows Shell to make a renewal application for its seismic surveying. This morning, the court will hear applications from environment and community groups for leave to appeal the Supreme Court ruling. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News.
In an effort to curb excessive overtime claims, the Tshwane Municipality is considering paying its VIP protection officers a fixed 35,000 Rand a month allowance. A report recently tabled to Council shows this allowance will replace overtime pay, meaning all VIP officers will receive this monthly pay regardless of whether they work overtime, are sick or on leave. VIP protection officers fall under the Tshwane Metro Police Department and are charged with the protection of the mayor, a speaker and MMCs among other high-profile people in the city. Thabiso Goba has more.
The Auditor General has for a number of years raised flags over the abuse of Tshwane's overtime system. As a result, in March this year, the CC manager issued a circular saying overtime should be limited to 40 hours a month per employee. However, the report presented to Council says this is difficult for VIP protection officers due to the nature of their jobs. On average, a single VIP officer works more than 100 hours of overtime a month. Last year, out of the 21.3 million Rand in overtime paid out to all TMPD officers, VIP officers accounted for 64% of the total amount. The proposed 35,000 Rand a month allowance will be tabled at the local labour forum for consultation prior to being implemented. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
There are growing calls to review a policy framework that stipulates university students who form part of the missing middle can only apply for NSFAS loans and not bursaries. The students in question do not meet the threshold for NSFAS bursary applications, but also cannot afford to self-fund their tuition. Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela says there is increasing pressure to allow these students to qualify for bursaries. He was speaking at a media briefing in Pretoria yesterday on the state of readiness for the 2026 academic year. Jabulile Mbata reports.
Students who qualify for a bursary must have a combined household income of less than 350,000 Rand per annum before deductions, while those applying for loans have an income of over 350,000 Rand and below 600,000 Rand per year. However, each year, students raise that those who are part of the missing middle also want to be able to get bursaries. Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela says there are discussions to see how that can be made possible. He's added that the money paid back from loans is needed to help raise funds for future applicants.
So that's a discussion that we, together with Treasury and the Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation, will be leading. But we also think it's a discussion that must happen broadly in society. How sustainable is this student funding model?
He added that at present, the National Student Financial Aid Scheme is facing a funding crisis. Jabulile Mbata, Eyewitness News.
The South African Scholar Transporters Association has called on government to enforce stricter regulations on the scholar transport sector. The call comes after at least 20 learners were seriously injured in a minibus taxi crash in KwaZulu-Natal yesterday morning. The South African Scholar Transporters Association Secretary General Sihle Magubane says their appeals to government have fallen on deaf ears.
We've been looking at this for all this time long, from 2020, and we've been knocking on the door saying to government, this has to stop. Because there are a lot of things that needs to be done to better this sector, transporting sector, scholar transporting sector. But government doesn't want to listen to us.
Magubane says many of the drivers involved in the accidents are not properly licensed and trained.
We try by all means that our members, we train them. We try by all our means. We can't do that on our own without being regulated. Because if had we been regulated, government should meet us halfway.
Government has indicated it will soon announce a collaboration with the Vehicle Testing Association to further regulate the taxi and scholar transport industry. In the Western Cape, a fire in the mountains above Kochmanskloof outside Ashton has been fully contained. The blaze, which started on the lower edges of the kloof yesterday, was fueled overnight by dense vegetation and strong winds. Two broken fire lines were active this morning. The Cape Winelands District Municipalities, Joanne Otto.
Thanks to the combined efforts of firefighting crews from the Cape Winelands District and Langeberg municipalities, as well as favourable weather conditions, the blaze was successfully contained. No damage to property or infrastructure has been reported. Monitoring will continue in the area for the next 24 hours.
And the United Nations Commission of Inquiry has found that Israel has committed genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. A new report states there are reasonable grounds to conclude that 4 of the 5 genocidal acts defined under international law have been carried out since the start of the war with Hamas in 2023. These include killing members of a group, causing them serious bodily and mental harm, deliberately inflicting conditions calculated to destroy the group, and preventing births. Israel's Foreign Ministry says it categorically rejects the report, denouncing it as distorted and false. Gold's trading at $3,697.02 an ounce. The rand's at 17.36 to the dollar, at 23.68 to the pound, at 20.51 to the euro. Brent crude oil's at $67.06 a barrel.
In Melrose, Rosebank area, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on Glenhove Road between Oxford and the M1 due to roadworks, and in Selby, Joburg, there's slow-moving traffic. M2 westbound between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road.
A look at your weather. It's clear skies in Gauteng this afternoon. Temperatures are peaking at highs between 28 and 33 degrees. It's cloudy skies in the mother city with light rain this afternoon, along with fresh southwesterly winds at a high of 15 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. Environmental groups are currently in the Constitutional Court challenging a Supreme Court judgment which allowed Shell to bring an application for seismic exploration in the Wild Coast in the Eastern Cape.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. You're with Mandy Wiener on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking. On the show today, the head of the ANC's Integrity Commission, Frank Chikane, on Ramaphosa's marching orders to councillors. We'll unpack the fallout from his statement that the DA is better at running municipalities. We'll look at the state of municipalities in the country. And the MK brings an urgent application to stop the Madlanga Commission from going ahead. All of that over the next hour.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Report on 702 and Cape Talk with me, Mandy Wiener. Great to be with you today. We'll pick up on that court matter in the Constitutional Court, that Shell matter that we heard about in the news bulletin. There are a few other cases we're looking at. MK bringing that urgent application to try and stop the Madlanga Commission from going ahead. What do you think about that? Do you think that we should be hearing from General Mkhwanazi tomorrow? Everywhere I go, people say they want to hear what he has to say. What are your thoughts on this and what MK is doing? Send me a WhatsApp voice note 072 702 1702 072 567 1567. A lot of analysis of the comments made by both the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, yesterday and the ANC's Integrity Commission chairperson, Frank Chikane, giving marching orders to the ANC councillors. The ANC President saying that local government is all about getting the small things right, saying that street lighting is a simple thing. It must happen. It's a function that we're capable of ensuring that is executed. Well, let's speak now to Reverend Frank Chikane, who's the ANC's Integrity Commission chairperson. Reverend Chikane, good afternoon to you and welcome to the Midday Report.
And thank you very much and greetings to your listeners here.
The intention of yesterday's meeting and the comments that you made to councillors, what was important for you that they take away from that?
You know, if you got my message, it is very clear. The ANC was captured and took a wrong trajectory. And unless people understand that, they will never understand why we were where we are. And then when there was a turnaround, we had to go through commissions and, clean up the prosecution authority, intelligence, and it took 7 years. That's what I said yesterday. Now we have arrived at a point where we can now deal with the challenges people are facing. Otherwise, the ANC was redirected to focus on individual interest, etc. There's no time to talk about that. That is history. We now have arrived, and that's why the NEC met to look at the strategy to make sure, firstly, the service delivery countrywide. And we have been working on this for the last 6 months in an ad hoc committee I was part of, to make sure there are systems to deliver services. There must be water, there must be no sewer in the street, there must be no potholes. It's very clear. But you needed to liberate the ANC from the capture to be able to do what it knows best. And then on top of that is the issue of corruption, ethical practice, which is where I came in yesterday. That if there's corruption, there's diversion of resources from what they are supposed to do, you can't achieve your objectives. So you must end this thing that people believed you go into government, you go to the ANC to make money. Nobody must make money without delivering services and value to the people. And yesterday it was made very clear that corruption is not equivalent to the ANC. There's no policy of the ANC that supports corruption. And these people who embed themselves into the ANC to make money at the expense of the people, that's the end. And we declared yesterday is the end. We're going to have a hotline. Anybody who asks anybody money for a tender, for a job, or even to get supplies to contractors, those people cannot be ANC. You must declare anybody who asks you money, you must know it's a criminal. Don't call them ANC. No one has got the authority to use the ANC name to bring it into disrepute. And this is what the marching orders were about. And all those councillors there, this is the largest group of councillors in one room, and they are a good intelligence about what's happening on the ground. And that's what, and if they fail, if the ANC cadres fail, we're calling on the people. Because the ANC branch is this is the only party where they are in every branch, in every ward. There's a branch, and in every ward they have a councillor, and so there can be no failure. The first people who should know the sewer in the streets is the ANC cadre. If they don't, it means they don't deserve to be called ANC cadres in that area. We're going back to where we were during the UDF days, where we organized street by street. We must end the pain of the people. Nobody must live with sewer in a street or come into their homes.
Reverend, if I can jump in there, we hear a lot about reform in the ANC and the renewal project.
Your line has been corrupted. Your line is corrupted.
We need to end the corruption of my line. Can you hear me? Are you still with us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Corruption is endemic, as we can tell from that. So we hear a lot about the renewal project in the ANC, the reform agenda of President Ramaphosa. You speak about state capture. How would you describe it currently? Do you believe that it's as simple as ordering, giving marching orders?
The line is very bad, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to try one more time, if you can still hear me, Reverend Chikane.
I can't hear you.
Okay. Well, we'll leave it there then. We'll try and get you back on another line if possible. But important that I was trying to make that point, saying that It's not as simple as just issuing a decree to deal with corruption. You can't just give marching orders and say, stop this thing that we've been doing for such a long time. Corruption really has become endemic. It's systemic. It's part of the way of life in municipalities. So I want to know from him, how do you clear it up? Reverend Frank Chikani, can you hear me now? Is my line still correct?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I can hear you now.
So just to make my point again, I'm saying, how do you describe the current state of corruption? Because you can't just issue a decree and order councillors to stop being corrupt. It is endemic. It's systemic. So how do we deal with it?
No, we have dealt with the apartheid system. We can't be beaten by this corrupt lot and criminals. We're going to mobilize the people. The people know who's corrupt. I said it yesterday. The people know the people who come and collect 100 rands to fix a transformer so that they can have electricity. So the criminals take over the infrastructure of Eskom. But the people know who collects the money. The people who know that they move one part of the transformer to another. We're going to give them a hotline. We're not going to depend on anybody else. And the people will call that number and we're going to act. And we are engaging with the police as well, so that we don't do things that the police should do. So a party can't do that. But we're going to make sure that criminals don't take over this country and gangs don't, and people fear them. I'm saying we defeated apartheid, which was fearful, and we're going to defeat this lot. And I did make an example yesterday about Haiti, where criminals gangs took over.
Yes.
Almost half of the state. And I'm saying, no, we suffered to get this country. We're not going to allow this corrupt lot to do that to us. And they cannot play it within the ANC. We are here.
Reverend, it's one thing to say we're going to end corruption, and I've done a lot of research and I've literally written books about corruption and whistleblowing in this country. Hotlines don't necessarily work. We need better legislation. We need whistleblowers to be protected. The ANC government says that it is doing these things, but in reality, we're still waiting for the legislation.
Yeah, I think deal with that with government and ANC. I'm talking about the ANC on the ground. We're going to fight this thing, even if that legislation is not the whole fight, because we didn't depend on the law when we fought apartheid. We're not going to allow criminals to actually take over this country. They may kill us. I might be dead tomorrow, but they're not going to control this country. I think that's what we're saying. I'm talking to the people of South Africa. It's not a debate, and I know the masses will follow on this journey when we work together.
Reverend Frank Chikani, ANC Integrity Commission Chairperson, thank you very much for your time. He might be dead tomorrow, he says. I could be dead tomorrow. I've issued this warning that judges and journalists could be next. If we're going to deal with corruption, then let's deal with the targeted assassinations. It's not enough to just say, oh, we're going to start a hotline. Hotlines don't work. They've become a witch hunt. I understand the sentiment and I appreciate the sentiment, but is it really enough? What do you think?
Good afternoon, Mandy and the listeners. It's the Frank Chikani really doesn't know what he's talking about. ANC councillors are not delivering. That's all I can tell you. I'm here in Fosterus in Ward 46. We never seen our councillor. The only thing we know about this councillor is a drunkard. That's all I can tell you. That councillor must go. That's all I can tell you, Mandy Anonymous.
Good afternoon, Mandy. The ANC's Integrity Committee. Now there's an oxymoron for you. Nicholas, Florida.
Thank you very much. Lots and lots of WhatsApp voice notes coming through. Let's get some analysis before we listen to more of those. Professor Dirk Kotze, political analyst, joining us now. Prof, good afternoon to you. Thanks for your time. The ANC is having an epiphany about corruption, it seems.
Yes, it does. And I think what we are seeing now is that it becomes almost out of their control. And I mean, I've listened now to part of this interview you have had, and I think it's in a sense giving us an indication of how they feel that they've to a large extent lost control over what is happening in South Africa. I must say, I think this is in a sense one gets the fact that, for example, President Ramaphosa even said that, conceded to a large extent that the DA is better than the ANC when it comes to governing, I think was a major concession made by him.
How damaging do you think that concession may be? There's a lot of analysis of it today. The DA, of course, capitalizing on it. How damaging could that be?
No, I think from an ANC point of view, specifically for ANC supporters, I don't know how they are going to cope with that. It's a way of saying that we have failed. We don't have any more a plan of our own. We don't have a way in which we can turn this situation around. And it's by implication almost a concession that they don't have much hope for next year's election.
The focus seems to be on corruption. It's on service delivery. It's about the stuff that really matters when it comes to a local government election. But is it too little too late for the ANC here?
I think so. I think it is what they possibly try to do, and also with this so-called roll call, is to try to see if they can rescue whatever is left within this next year. That there is essentially 1 year left in order to try to change the situation. The problem with this is that it is not only the councillors who are sort of part of the issue. A lot of the issue depends on the officials at local government level. Those who were appointed mainly by the ANC, but those are the people who need to have the technical skills, the technical requirements, meet the technical requirements, must have the experience in order to deal with the issues that we are talking about, whether it's infrastructure or service delivery, and so on. And I think that is where, and the culture of service delivery is not there anymore. Many people try to do overtime work instead of working during the normal working hours. There's lots of simply being not able to cope with the volume of work that has to be done. And in many instances, especially in the smaller councils or smaller municipalities, they don't have the technical skills, whether it is in engineers or persons in the financial management field and so on. They can't afford them. So I think that is part of the malaise that really exists at local government level.
Prof, thank you very much. Professor Dirk Kotze, political analyst, speaking to us there. Sure, so much response to Reverend Frank Chikane. Hi, Mandy. This Reverend just wasted a valuable 6 to 10 minutes. All that he said is what many South Africans have heard before. The President said it is all who is best to run the municipality in the country in the near future. Watch this space. Pule in Pretoria. Sai, ANC is just talk. Reverend Chikane is full of hot air. It's business as usual with the inept ANC. They think that a decree will stop corruption, marching orders will stop ineptness. They must go for anything to change. They must go for anything to change. And then what a load of BS. When was the ANC taken over? And what were Frank, Cyril and Thabo doing about it? The smacks of desperate sloganeering before next year's municipal elections. Don't forget, Frank Chikane was the DG in the presidency when Thabo Mbeki was president of South Africa. When ANC people say, oh no, speak to government, I know that there's a distinction between party and state, but for 30 years, the ANC, it was an ANC-led government. So I'm not sure that we should be looking to government. I understand in terms of legislation, it's ministers that table legislation, but I still think there needs to be accountability.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Reverend Frank Chikane. He's the last person to be talking about corruption. He was the chairperson of City Power. He didn't stop corruption. He actually made corruption worse. He didn't testify when Alan Busak was arrested for fraud and corruption, because that time he was the General Secretary of South African Council of Churches, and Alan Busak reported to him. So Alan Busak refused to testify because he didn't want to implicate him. So he's the last person to be talking about corruption. Thank you very much. John from Johannesburg.
Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Experience extraordinary with the new iPhone 17 from Vodacom. Zanzi's winning 5G network. More delightful, more durable with a 6.3-inch ProMotion display, center stage front camera, and a ceramic shield that's 2 times more scratch resistant. Be among the first to get the all-new iPhone 17 plus a free extended warranty. Pre-order yours today. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
So, Taryn, you've just graduated cum laude, but nothing says you're a genius quite like selling your car to We Buy Cars.
Absolutely. My car was an 18th birthday present, and it's time to move on to something a bit more mature.
So where did you hear about We Buy Cars?
All of my friends are using We Buy Cars. I would have had legit FOMO if I hadn't used them. And it was so quick. I did it on my laptop while sending around my CV.
Smart move, Taryn. Graduated and upgraded. We Buy Cars. Geared for success. Geared for you.
You know those finfluencers, the kind of bros making bank in Bali, calling themselves forex gurus, promising you can make money while you sleep if you just buy their course. But then you end up losing sleep, waking up for different market openings, checking charts, scanning the members-only group chat for signals, and you start wondering, why do they call it day trading when you're spending all night spending your money to make money, only to realize that they make their money selling courses on how to make money. Oh. When you can't trust overnight wins, trust 30 years of market-beating returns.
Coronation. Trust is earned. Coronation is an authorized FSP.
From the bottles on your table to the glass that's recycled and reborn, Isanti Glass is proving that sustainability can shine. This Thursday, 702 Drive with John Perlman will be in conversation with Isanti Glass as we unpack how they are redefining glass manufacturing and making a real impact in communities. We'll also explore how Isanti Glass champions innovation, empowers local industries, and supports a circular economy through recycling and sustainable practices. Don't miss 702 Drive with John Perlman this Thursday in conversation with Isanti Glass from 3 to 6 p.m. on 702.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Good afternoon, Mandy. It's Elias here. I think the members of the ANC who are criticizing Ramaphosa are trying to hide behind the finger, and the finger is too small for them to hide. All the ANC voted councillors and other leaders. They put corruption first and then service delivery the last, and then which is opposite to DA. DA put the service delivery first, and then corruption will be the last thing for them. So they must just see themselves that they're walking out of control, and they will be taking their bets, as Ramaphosa said.
Plenty voice notes coming in. We'll play some more in the second half of the show. 12:30, time for Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks, Mandy. Good afternoon. The presidency says more than 1,000 public servants are facing disciplinary action following investigations by the Special Investigating Unit for a range of transgressions. But the presidency and the SIU have bemoaned the fact that several public service officials at national and provincial departments continue to resign from their positions while facing disciplinary proceedings. The presidency has also told Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts today that several officials have been dismissed for wrongdoing, including municipal managers and deputy directors generals. We move to the courts, where a woman accused of operating a global sexual exploitation network with her boyfriend is determined to be released on bail. Megan Moodley is challenging the court's decision to deny her bail application. Moodley and her partner, Darren Wilkin, were back in the Randburg Magistrates Court for the continuation of their case today. And the United Nations Commission of Inquiry has found that Israel committed genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. A new report says there are reasonable grounds to conclude that 4 of the 5 genocidal acts defined under international law have been carried out since the start of the war with Hamas in 2023. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at 1 o'clock or as it happens.
EWN Sport.
Good afternoon, I'm Tolagile Mganga. We start in Lahore, where Pakistan won the toss and elected to bat first in their first ODI against South Africa women. In the latest update from their innings, they're currently naught without any loss. Switching over to football, where the Bedway Premiership continues tonight with 3 games scheduled, including a top-of-the-table clash between Kaizer Chiefs and Skokune United. Spesihle Ndlovu has shared his thoughts on the challenge that Eric Tinkler's side will pose for the Glamour Boys.
We've done our best to really prepare for this upcoming game, of which we understand that it won't be an easy task because we have to deal with a hell lot of things, a hell lot of individuals, and also a team that has a fight within them. So yeah, it's going to be a very difficult encounter, but we are looking forward to it.
The UEFA Champions League also returns this evening, and selected games will see Arsenal away to Athletic Club, Real Madrid host Marseille, while Juventus clash with Borussia Dortmund. And Jacques Nienaber has committed his future to Leinster after signing a contract extension until the end of the 2026-27 season. Nienaber joined the Irish club after the Springboks World Cup win in 2023, having been promoted to head coach following the Boks title triumph 4 years earlier. Tolagile Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this hour, if you're heading towards the Melrose area, bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is on Glenhove Road between Oxford and the M1 due to ongoing roadwork. Selby, traffic also sluggish on the M2 westbound. This is between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road while traveling through Parktown, Joburg CBD. Slow-moving traffic M1 northbound from the Crown Interchange all the way to Empire Road. There's also slow-moving traffic traveling towards Germiston. That's in Bedford View, N3 southbound between the Kilulis Interchange and Van Buren. While in the Mother City, there's roadworks causing some delays on Nelson Mandela Boulevard outgoing. This is approaching Baden Powell. Also, there's slow-moving traffic. This is on Epping due to an accident heading towards Ejax Gerwel Drive. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
When selling a car, there's nothing worse than a long, frustrating process. We Buy Cars knows life's short and time is precious. Sell your car within a day from wherever you find it convenient. Simply complete the online form and We Buy Cars will make it happen. Need a new ride? Explore thousands of vehicles online or in store. We Buy Cars, South Africa's trusted vehicle partner.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 1 kg D-Lite 37% fat spread tub, $34.99. Save R8 with Spar Rewards. Or 1 kg Spar French, chili, garlic or chicken polony for $34.99 with Spar Rewards. Plus, you could win your share of 6 million rand in instant cash. Price is valid until 22 September 2025. While stocks last. T's and C's apply.
Spring is sprung, the grass is res. It's now time to get stuck into your garden. So get to Chamberlain Gardening Centres for our spring promotion from 4 August to 12 October. Get ceiling trays at R29.90 or Galterra compost at R24.90. And don't miss a chance to win your share of 90,000 Rand in gift vouchers every Saturday during the promotion. Chamberlain, famous for hardware and gardening since 1903.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a parent and a nervous but excited kid practicing her lines to put on a show-stopping performance at the school play. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a future superstar on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
You can't make this stuff up. You absolutely cannot make this stuff up. Nothing the ANC touches cannot be corrupted. Even the phone lines, when there's ANC people involved, 702 phone lines get corrupted, in the words of Reverend Frank Chikane. Fantastic.
Hey Mandy,
I support John from Johannesburg's comments wholeheartedly. Same thoughts in my mind. Frank Shikani must be the last person to talk about corruption. I vote John from Johannesburg, president of our country. Coffee from Edenville.
I'm glad we're keeping you amused here on the Midday Report that our phone lines are corrupted. But to that point, corruption is so endemic. It is its tentacles reach so deep that you can't just issue a decree that says we're going to end corruption now. Stop it, all of you, because it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. But I think the ANC is very much having, as Juanita Hunter describes it, a DA Damascus moment, which I thought was very clever, by the way, Juanita, because it is a Damascus moment. They're realizing, they're having this epiphany that corruption is actually a huge problem and they need to deal with it before the local government elections.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Well, for those of you who have sat down and read the Auditor General's report, which comes out every year, it tells us about the state of municipalities. And it's always a bit of a horror show to read it, because we get an understanding of just how bad things are run at municipal level. Other researchers, of course, doing a lot of good work on the state of municipalities. Let's speak now to Dr. Tina Nzo from Wits University about the state of our municipalities. Dr. Nzo, good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time. What is the state of our municipalities in South Africa?
Good afternoon, Mandy, and also good afternoon to your listeners. Well, as like you said, Mandy, the Auditor General report keeps on showing us the same kind of poor performance when it comes to local government and its financial management, particularly when you have to look at municipalities who are expected to perform better as metropolitan municipalities such as the city of Johannesburg. So recently, we also just saw that if we make an example for coming from the city of Johannesburg, there is an increase in irregular and unauthorized expenditure that keeps on coming back each and every year. And obviously, we know that it is a municipality under coalition government, but there is an expectation that political parties with the mayor should be working together to clean the financial mess of city of Johannesburg. So it hasn't been good. 16% of municipalities out of the whole 257 municipalities get clean audits. It's not helping. We're not even reaching a 20% threshold. It's terrible.
Am I correct in my argument, the premise being that corruption is endemic? It's deeply, deeply entrenched. How do we then deal with that at a municipal level? Because that's where it really impacts on the service delivery, refuse collection, sewerage, running water, electricity. What's it going to require to get municipalities to work?
Corruption is becoming the main focus that a lot of citizens and residents are starting to talk about quite upfrontly and frankly. In a municipality, it is a very complicated institution, but we understand that in order for a municipality to work, you've got to have political leadership who have political management capabilities, who sit in the executive of a municipality. Secondly, you also have got to have competent senior managers who are municipal managers, who are city managers, and also Section 56 managers who report to municipal managers. They've got to be competent in the finance, in the infrastructure division, because they have the responsibility of planning, of budgeting, of allocating resources, spending resources, accounting for the expenditure, and also having to know that we've got political oversight that has the duty to provide scrutiny and oversight in the way municipality uses its budget, and also have oversight in the way services are delivered. So if you don't have an institutional system that has got capable leaders, that has got administrators who can plan, who can budget, who can use resources optimally, and also having the integrity of ensuring that there is accountability and no maladministration, then that municipal institution will show the crack through governance weaknesses. So it's those compounding factors that need to be thought through carefully within the ecosystem of local government management.
Dr. Tina Nzor, thank you so much for your time from Wits University, having a look there at the state of our municipalities. Read the Auditor General's report, a specific focus on Joburg there and what needs to be done in order to improve service delivery and deal with corruption.
702. Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays, 12 to 1 p.m.
12:41 on the Midday Report. The Madlanga Commission due to get underway tomorrow. We are expecting General Mkwanazi to testify tomorrow. We will be broadcasting live from Pretoria from the Commission tomorrow on the Midday Report. But the MK Party and former President Jacob Zuma have brought an application in the High Court in Gauteng in Pretoria to try and interdict the Commission from going forward. Nklamulo Nklela is the MK Party spokesperson. Nklamulo, good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Report. Why is the MK Party bringing an application for an interdict?
Good afternoon, Mandy, and good afternoon to your listeners. As you recall, let's look at the genesis of this matter. The President made an announcement off the back of the allegations made by General Mkwanazi that he would put Senzo Mkhunu on leave of absence, appoint Professor Kachalia as an acting minister, and then the third one was the establishment of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry. Now, firstly, we're saying, and off the back of that, we took it to the Constitutional Court, as you would know, which they then found that on the basis of jurisdiction, this matter ought to be heard at a lower court, being the High Court, and we took it to this High Court on an urgent basis. Now, but the question would be why? Firstly, what we believe and what we've seen is that had the President just fired Senzo Mkhunu, South Africans would not be finding themselves in a situation where they'd be having to fund the political patronage that's been extended by Ramaphosa to his friend Senzo Mkhunu for him to continue to stay in cabinet. So now we're sitting with 147 million rand of a judicial commission of inquiry, the same judicial commission, we say the same judiciary, presided over by a judge, who have been implicated. We know that the judiciary, as per the Mkwanazi allegations, have been implicated. So now we're expecting a judge to preside over a matter that is, in effect, going to lead him to scrutinize and investigate his own peers. And we're saying that that's a conflict. It cannot be. That's the first one. How do we even know that, Madlanga is not investigating himself? The other one is, the issue that, the Commission of Inquiry, the same Commission of Inquiry, was supposed to have started on the 1st of September. They couldn't, obviously because of what we know to be naturally so, the incompetence of this government. But they chose the 17th when they know very well that the High Court had given us and set down our matter for the 18th and the 19th. And they go and they choose the 17th, which is right on the brink of the matter that should rule on their existence in the first place or to be heard. That alone raises eyebrows. And, it's already there's been so much scrutiny around a commission and you're the presiding judge. The last thing you do is to bring anything or make decisions that will bring any negative optics or raise flags. In this case, this raises flags. Why do you succumb and subject South African public purse to easily a cost of R1 million a day? I mean, if you look at the amount of senior counsels that they have there, the food, the logistics, the mere fact, over the fact that, remember, even the generals that will be there or the witnesses have to have an incurred cost in terms of the legal team that they'll have there. So we're saying waiting until the following week, or at least until the outcome of this this full sitting of 3 judges, that would not prejudice the process in any case. In any case, they were supposed to start from the 1st, weren't they? So what's wrong with waiting until the outcome of this case determines whether you should exist or not, instead of just wasting South African taxpayers' money? By the time this judgment comes out, it'll probably be 3 million rand.
Nklamulo, obviously the first hurdle you'll need to overcome in an urgent application is a matter of urgency. The Constitutional Court dismissed the application on urgency. The inquiry is starting the day before, so there may well be an argument that the horse has bolted, the inquiry's already started. What is your argument on urgency?
Maybe you're starting to reveal something that could be the case here. Maybe they're conspiring. How do we know? And we just hope that our imagination is not the reality that could lead to Madlanga deciding to then set up the commission on the day before so that his peers find it difficult to overturn this on the basis of urgency. How do we know? Maybe he does know something that we don't know. based on your question. So yes, you're right. How do we know? That maybe they're complicit and maybe colluding. Because this is what we expect nowadays of these judges that are being found to be, getting paid bribes, and some of them now on the brink of, being locked up by the Hawks. So the judiciary itself is rotten. That's why we are calling upon that this commission of inquiry, this judicial commission of inquiry, should not even proceed because the judiciary itself is rotten.
Klamulo, thank you very much. And Klamulo Nklela, MK Party spokesperson, explaining why the MK Party is bringing an urgent application for an interdict. So the commission starts tomorrow in Pretoria. We're expecting General Mkwanazi to testify. This application will be heard a day later. His argument is that the timing is deliberate. What do you think about that statement, the judiciary is rotten? I disagree with it. I know that Mkwanazi made allegations that there are some judges. There was a report at the weekend that a judge had asked for a bribe. Overall, I believe the judiciary still retains its integrity and is still a kind of at the vanguard of defending our democracy. But what are your thoughts on that and MK's urgent application? As organizations navigate increasingly complex local and global landscapes, corporate affairs professionals are being called to do more than adapt. They're being called to lead. On the 1st of October, the JSE Corporate Affairs Symposium 2025 will bring together industry leaders and change makers to explore the forces reshaping the profession, from artificial intelligence and public policy to stakeholder management. To book your ticket, visit jsc.co.za/CAS.
Did you know that every time you swipe your benefit card, you're contributing towards the Dis-Chem Foundation? Each time you swipe, not only are you rewarded, but a percentage of your purchase is donated to the Dis-Chem Foundation to support communities in need. All the more reason to sign up for your Dis-Chem or Dis-Chem Baby City benefit card today. Support with every swipe. The Dis-Chem Foundation, caring for the community.
Let's rewind 6 years, when Twitter was still Twitter, not a letter of the alphabet. TikTok was simply the sound your clock made. And Zoom just meant enlarging a picture. So it makes you wonder, what will the next 6 years bring? Hino trucks now come standard with a 6-year drivetrain warranty, covering everything from pistons to gears. So although a lot can change in 6 years, our warranty promise won't. T's and C's apply. Hino, all the way.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Hey Mandy, all this corruption, endemic corruption and what everything, it just reminds me of the fact that Albania, I think it was Albania, just swore their first AI minister in, and it would be the Minister of Government Procurement. So yeah, maybe something worth looking into. Gareth Paul.
I actually love listening to the ANC speaking as if they're a third party in this. They must actually look at themselves. They're the ones that have caused all these problems. They've got to sweep clean inside their own party, and once they've done that, maybe people will believe them.
Wow, you just taught me something. I did not know this. What an interesting story. So Albania's Prime Minister on Friday tapped an artificial intelligence generated minister to tackle corruption and promote transparency and innovation in his new cabinet. Officially named Diela, the female form of the word for sun in the Albanian language, the new AI minister is a virtual entity. Diela will be a member of the cabinet who is not present physically but has been created virtually, said the Prime Minister. The AI-generated bot would help ensure that public tenders will be 100% free of corruption and will help the government work faster and with full transparency. It uses AI's up-to-date models and techniques. Wow, that's so interesting. Depicted as a figure in a traditional Albanian folk costume, she was created earlier this year in cooperation with Microsoft. How interesting is that? Imagine we appointed an AI minister in South Africa to deal with tenders. Firstly, what would you call her? And what would she wear? And what would she do? And how would we corrupt her?
702.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Let's walk the talk.
Let's go to the courts now. The shell blasting case in the Constitutional Court today. Khomotso Modise, EWN reporter there for us. Khomotso, just remind us what this case is about.
Well, Mandy, this case involves organizations, environmental organizations such as Greenpeace, Natural Justice, as well as community members from the Wild Coast. They're challenging a Supreme Court order that basically allows Shell to make a new application to do seismic testing in the Wild Coast. What happened was the matter went to the High Court, which ruled in favor of the communities, and it was then escalated to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court found that the High Court failed to consider just and equitable relief in the matter, allowing that Shell can make a new renewal application in order to do testing in those environments. The communities in the Wild Coast, as well as Greenpeace and National Justice, they have escalated this matter to the Constitutional Court, saying the order by the Supreme Court ignores the fact that there wasn't enough consultation, Mandy, with the communities in the Wild Coast, and that's why we're here. Greenpeace and the communities want Shell and Impact Africa to be forced to consult with them first and to consider alternative methods in their mining that will not compromise, the environment as well as the ecosystem.
Okay, and what kind of hearing are we getting there? What are some of the issues that have been raised?
Really at the heart of this is whether there was enough consultation with the communities. It's a big part of the argument here, as well as whether the whole process can be halted in order for the consultation to start from scratch. The communities in particular are saying that the process that Shell undertook, wasn't a fair process. They only spoke to the traditional leaders, the chiefs in the area, and then they went ahead to make this application, this renewal application for seismic exploration or for testing, which includes blasting in the sea and the seabed. Now, these communities are saying they don't feel like they've been consulted at all. Groups are a little split, Mandy. We've got some in the groups that speak about how they do not want Shell to continue at all. They're saying it's going to compromise the environment. I spoke to some fishers who say they know for a fact that once Shell starts this exploration in the ocean on the Wild Coast, their fishing is going to be completely affected and halted, and they're going to have to look for new places to fish. They're saying the environment is not being considered at all. Now, another group is saying Shell just needs to consult properly with the communities in order to find common ground.
Khomotso Modise, EWN reporter in the Constitutional Court for us, where that Shell blasting case is currently being heard.
702, the Midday Report, Monday to Friday.
12 to 1 p.m.
Well, big breaking international news this morning following that UN Commission of Inquiry concluding that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. A response from Israel today, its foreign ministry, saying it categorically rejected the report and called for the Commission of Inquiry to be abolished. Israel's ambassador to the UN in Geneva, Daniel Miron, called the report a scandalous and fake libelous rant that had been authored by Hamas proxies. Well, if you missed it earlier, the Commission of Inquiry concluding that Israel is committing genocide. The Independent International Commission of Inquiry, which doesn't speak on behalf of the UN and has been criticized strongly by Israel, citing the scale of the killings and aid blockages. Take a listen to Navi Pillay from the UN Commission of Inquiry on this.
We've identified the President, the Prime Minister Netanyahu, and the former Minister of Defense. Mm-hmm. Based on their statements and the orders that they've given. So we have identified individuals. We have not done an investigation of all the individuals involved. I think future work by the Commission will get down to that. We're not dropping anything. Because these three individuals were agents of the state, under the law, the state then is held responsible. So we say it's a state of Israel that has committed genocide.
Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like a man wearing his finest suit on his way to an interview. He's prepped 100 times, but he still has butterflies. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's a potential lucky break that could change someone's life. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
One festival, endless flavor, and 2 unforgettable days of timeless music. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star, returns on 20 and 21 September at Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. On Saturday, the stage erupts with Don Tolliver, Questa, and Nkabi Zezwe. Then on Sunday, experience the legendary Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, Lyra, and more. The DSTV Delicious Festival, powered by Lotto Star. Tickets at Ticketmaster.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Good afternoon, Wendy. Yes, I definitely think MK Party should pursue this matter and then halt to this bogus process, taking a lot of our taxpayers' money. We do know Commission of Inquiries have not yielded any results. I'm surprised that you disagree with the matter because we have a gentleman like Kat Matlala who's above the law and has managed to evade a lot of charges. Clearly a judge presided over that, a corrupt judge.
Hi, Mandy. MK has so much power and they just don't know what to do with it. I just don't know what is their political game. It's just a disaster. They are making this whole thing to be about Mkuno, as if you fire Mkuno, all the other allegations will simply disappear. That's one part I don't understand with them. I don't know who's advising them, but their game is just so weak and useless.
Hi, Mandy and team. Tom here. As long as Public Finance Management Act, Municipal Finance Management Act is not followed, there will be irregular expenditure. Always, no accountability.
On the WhatsApp line, no, Mandy, the judiciary is captured, even the Constitutional Court. They would not rule against the Kill the Boer song. That's from Nicholas. And then, hi, Mandy, we cannot have an AI politician because who are they accountable to? From Natalie. I imagine they'd be accountable to the Prime Minister. In a way. And then Kevin says, hi Mandy, Kevin here. The strategy is to make out that the judiciary is rotten, same as Trump, part of conditioning citizens for a dictatorship. Yeah, I think you're exactly right there on what the MK Party is doing here. And then I love this from Vivian. Hi Mandy, the SA bot should be called Tin Swallow.
Politicians, and more politicians. As long as the public continue to rely on politicians, we're going to keep running around in circles. From Chad.
Hey, good day, Mandy. Aubrey in Phosphorus. Mandy, it tells us the Reverend now is still living in 1987, somewhere there. That's why he talks the way he's talking. I mean, they are the ones who are corrupt. His comrades, his fellow comrades in the ANC, then he's going to establish a hotline to report corruption. I mean, can he come back to 2025?
Thank you very much for all of your engagement today. Lots of WhatsApp voice notes, a very full, busy show. Tomorrow, the Midday Report will come to you live from the Madlanga Commission, so please don't miss it. The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking. It's 1 o'clock.
This is EWN.
More than 1,000 public servants facing disciplinary action and second accused in global child sexual exploitation network challenges bill denial. Good afternoon, I'm Mikey Malapo. The presidency says more than 1,000 public servants are facing disciplinary action following investigations by the Special Investigating Unit for a range of transgressions. But the presidency and the SIU have bemoaned the fact that several public service officials at national and provincial departments continue to resign from their positions while facing disciplinary proceedings. The presidency has also told Parliament standing Standing Committee on Public Accounts today that several officials have been dismissed for wrongdoing, including municipal managers and